discuss serious criminal vandalisation at Clongriffin DART Station. In the name of Deputy Thomas Broughan.
Thanks, like myself, Minister, I'm sure you were horrified to receive reports about the incident that occurred at Clongriffin DART Station on Tuesday night. Obviously, this was a very shocking and traumatic experience for passengers and Irish Rail staff who witnessed the atrocious antisocial and criminal behaviour. What was reported as, and I quote, an unprecedented graffiti attack, end quote, seems to have been much more sinister, with up to 20 young people allegedly wearing balaclavas and armed with knives and lumps of wood blocking the doors of a train at around 10:30 p.m. More shocking still is that it appears there may have been two rival gangs who were then also fighting amongst themselves to damage the train. We can't imagine the terror for the passengers on that Dublin to Malahide train, DART. Train. Regrettably, though this attack reached a new level of depravity, it's not an isolated incident, Minister. Over the past few years, a small number of miscreants seem to have repeatedly vandalised the station and terrorised commuters. I've visited the station many times and have contacted An Garda Síochána and Dáil Éireann since 2016 in particular to convey complaints and annoyance of so many citizens from the area. I previously requested that a full-time security team be placed at the station for regular Garda patrols and for the installation of a full CCTV system and other increased security measures. This week I've again contacted our local superintendent and chief superintendent of An Garda Síochána to ask what they're doing to improve security at the station and ensure passenger safety in light of the appalling incident on Tuesday. I repeatedly contacted former Irish Rail CEO David Franks, and have now also contacted the acting CEO of Irish Rail, Jim Mead, with regards to this criminal activity. For about 8 years before its opening in 2010, Minister, the people of the new estates in Bow Park and Clongriffin in Dublin 13 campaigned for the Clongriffin DART Station and were delighted with its impressive design and facilities. But over the past 3 years, and particularly since the middle of 2016, I've been receiving numerous emails, calls, people coming to see me from concerned constituents who are living in fear. As they say themselves, Clongriffin, Belmain and the coast, all the areas of the Dublin North Fringe are growing areas with many young, hard-working families with children. There's a wonderful sense of community among the people of the area, with regular and well-attended community meetings, although the delivery of education, health, shopping, creche, and you could say, Minister, security facilities have been dismally slow from the main developer, Gannon Homes, from Dublin City Council and Fingal County Council. Residents believe that Clongriffin DART Station is being targeted because of its distance from the District Garda Station, which is located over 3 miles away in Coolock. And residents report that it can take over 20 minutes for Gardaí to arrive to the scene of an emergency. In some instances where residents have reported stolen cars, suspicious behaviour and other antisocial behaviour, particularly in the station and nearby Father Collins Park, I'm told that it's taken over an hour for the Gardaí to arrive. And of course, for most of my political career, the people of the large Donaghmede parish, more than 3,000 or 4,000 houses, Minister, where much of the North Fringe estates, including Clongriffin, are based, they have demanded their own Garda station, and we never got that realisation. The station, of course, has been targeted for a long time, with Irish Rail having to replace the front two main windows on numerous occasions and finally opting for an unbreakable front option, which is not as aesthetically pleasing. During last summer, for example, 42 out of 45 of the glazed panels had been smashed or shattered. 2 weeks ago, during the daytime, you may remember, Minister, there was also a robbery of a cash and transit van. So the residents, my constituents, the residents of Clongriffin, Minister, they're growing tired in their efforts to create a positive community spirit, only to have repeated attacks on their public transport facility and neighbourhood, and also the increasing feelings of uneasiness in using their local DART station. So this disgraceful nonsense, it's gone on long enough. It's now critical that Irish Rail, Dublin City Council, Fingal County Council, Gannon Homes, Cairn Homes, other key stakeholders, including the public representatives and An Garda Síochána, get together to ensure that this breakdown in law and order stops immediately and never reoccurs. Thanks, Can.
Thank you, Deputy Minister Flanagan.
Thank you, Ceann Corda, and I wish to thank Deputy Broughan for raising this important matter here in the House, and I'm very pleased to be here as Minister for Justice to respond. I am, of course, aware of the very serious incident that took place earlier this week concerning a number of youths who vandalised a DART train as it arrived into Clongriffin Station. The youths in question then proceeded to engage in other serious antisocial behaviour and accost innocent members of the public. This is completely unacceptable behaviour. It will not be tolerated. I'm advised that this incident is now the subject of an official investigation by An Garda Síochána in conjunction with Irish Rail. I understand there's CCTV footage being reviewed to help identify the culprits and help with the investigation. I understand that photographs were also taken at the scene of the graffiti tags, which are also being circulated in order to identify any links with known graffiti offenders. I would encourage anybody with any information about this incident to contact An Garda Síochána as soon as possible. In terms of tackling this particular type of crime, I'm advised by An Garda Síochána that Garda management engages extensively with transport operators, and a range of regional and local operations have been put in place to address incidents and issues that have arisen at specific locations. There's ongoing communication between An Garda Síochána and the respective control centres. Access to good quality CCTV helps provide assistance to Gardaí when investigating incidents of a serious nature, such as what we saw in Clongriffin earlier this week. Listen carefully to the submission, Deputy Broughan. I have to say that taken on board the points that he raises. Deputy Broughan will be aware that An Garda Síochána already employs a wide range of operational measures aimed at tackling public order offences and antisocial behaviour. These measures are underpinned by the existence of a comprehensive legal framework which assists the Gardaí in tackling this type of crime. Of course, addressing local community concerns in relation to public order and antisocial behaviour is a key focus in An Garda Síochána's national community policing model, and a range of strong legislative provisions are available to An Garda Síochána, including the Criminal Damage Act of 1991, Criminal Justice Public Order Act of 1994, Criminal Justice Public Order Act 2003 and Intoxicating Liquor Acts 03 and 08. This type of behaviour that we witnessed in Clongriffin earlier this week has no place in a civilised society. For its part, the Government remains committed to ensuring that An Garda Síochána have all the necessary resources to tackle all forms of criminality in communities. In this context, Deputy Broughan will be aware that some €1.65 billion has been allocated to the Garda vote in 2018. €98.5 million has been provided for Garda overtime, which will also assist with Garda operations to tackle the type of problems that we saw this week. This Government is committed to ensuring a strong and visible police presence throughout the country in order to maintain and strengthen community engagement, to provide reassurance to citizens and, of course, to deter crime. Budget 18 will support the continuation of this high-level investment in the Garda workforce, ensure that the vision of an overall workforce of 21,000 by 2021 remains on track. Listen to the point raised by Deputy Broughan on the matter of stakeholder engagement, stakeholder get-together. I agree.
Minister for his reply and for the report on the official investigation that's now taking place. But I suppose, Minister, words are meaningless at this stage. I mean, what residents and commuters want is action. Most of all, my constituents want the people involved in the behaviour, such as that occurred at Clongriffin DART Station last Tuesday night, to be apprehended, jail-load, cautioned, jail-load if necessary, and if necessary, prosecuted. And resources must also be put, of course, into increased security at Clongriffin Station. The incidents, of course, are occurring because perpetrators are simply getting away with it. That station, as you know, Minister, it cost €22 million nearly a decade ago, and in the 8 years since, it's been under sustained and now worsening attack. We need a permanent, static security presence, I think indefinitely, and you need to assure me that the safety and well-being of my constituents and our commuters is paramount here. And it's not just Clongriffin DART Station, as you know, Minister, which has been under such attacks over recent years. The Hote Junction Donamead DART Station to the south has also suffered a lot, and I've lost count of how many times I've had to contact Irish Rail and the Gardaí about vandalism, threatening behaviour, lift breakdowns, etc. at that station also. And as you know, Minister, these incidents are part of a wider issue of antisocial behaviour in areas around Dublin Bay North, which I raised with yourself and with Taoiseach Varadkar just a few months ago, and also raised, of course, the cuts in community policing that has occurred over the decade of austerity. And I've repeatedly written to you, I think you'll agree, about dangerous joyriding and criminal behaviour in other areas of DBN. But this behaviour, along with what we've witnessed at Clongriffin, it's escalating, and it'll lead to a very serious incident, to people getting hurt or indeed to people getting killed. So I think, Minister, the time for action is now. And finally, of course, I want to repeat my invitation to you, which I issued to you a couple of times in the past 6 months, to come out to Dublin Bay North, to meet our community in Clongriffin and the other districts of DBN, to meet our local Gardaí, our local Garda officers, Irish Rail staff, local authority staff. So I'd ask you again if you, to come out and make that visit, see for yourself at first hand and see the resources that are necessary to ensure that this crazy behaviour, Wild West behaviour, never happens in this city again. Thanks,
Deputy Broughan. Minister, to conclude, please.
Well, it's clear, Ceann Comhairle, that this is an issue of concern upon which Deputy Broughan has strong views, as indeed do we all. And it's important that we work together to eradicate this type of unacceptable behaviour in our society. I'm advised that the incident in Clongriffin remains under active investigation by An Garda Síochána. Every effort is continuing locally to identify those involved. I'm further advised that the very close contact is being maintained with local and senior management of Irish Rail, other transport providers. And Garda Síochána has a good working relationship with the public transport service providers within the district. Patrols of uniformed and plainclothes Gardaí, including personnel and foot patrols and other community engagement, are maintained in the vicinity of the area where this incident occurred. I can assure Deputy Broughan I remain in ongoing contact with the Garda Commissioner regarding all new and emerging crime trends. I'm committed to ensuring that An Garda Síochána has all the necessary resources required to deal with this type of criminality in our communities, including the type of unacceptable criminal behaviour that we saw earlier this week in Clongriffin. I wish to assure Deputy Broughan of my ongoing support.